Welcome, friends, to the PW Fan. The PW Fan is a podcast created by fans for the fans, and we appreciate you listening to episode 163. I'm your host, the architect of pro wrestling podcast, Andy.
I'm also the no celebrity indie fan and football lover, Jeremy.
And Tim will be on here, possibly not.
Hopefully.
There's some issues with his mic, so we shall see. We're hoping he gets on, but we are going to get started without him just in case. This week, we're going to be talking about the Royal Rumble. And I'm just going to say, we're just going to be talking about the Royal Rumble and more, all right? Basically. That's really, there's a lot to get into with that. Some stuff that didn't happen on television as well. Before we get started, follow us on pretty much all social media at the PW Fan. So let's get right into it. Before we get into actual cable shows, was it this week, or I feel like it was this week, or else we would have talked about it last week. So there's the new Evolve is getting going. Yeah, Evolve has been around. It was in a weird partnership before, right? But now Evolve, I read, it's kind of going to get or Triple H kind of said it, I think, during the press conference. It's going to be basically what NXT was in the beginning. I guess kind of like FCW. It gets them what it's like to be in front of the fans, in front of the camera. Instead of people learning that in NXT, which has now kind of become like a third brand, right?
Yeah.
It's
now I thought that was just AEW.
Huh?
I thought that was just AEW.
Jeremy, turn to the dark side.
Because everyone who came back or came from AEW to WWE, I think has done pretty well.
Yeah. So that's what that's going to be. It's going to be like, I don't even think it's going to be people that I think have like never been on TV, people that aren't even wrestling. It's what NXT was doing along with what they're doing now, but instead now they're going to separate the two.
Yeah, because they're basically a third brand now.
Yeah, I think you're going to go from Evolve to NXT, then to Raw, then to SmackDown.
Yeah.
But on top of that, there's a new show called it's called LFG, right? And that stands for Legends and Future Greats, which I just basically take it as a new Tough Enough in a way.
That's what it sounds like.
So what I'm reading here on Wrestling Inc. is it will premiere February 16th at 8 on A&E. The weekly show will give viewers an inside look into the journey of 16 hopefuls as they endure rigorous training from the likes of The Undertaker, Booker T, Mickie James, and Bubba Ray, all of whom serve as coaches. Triple H and Shawn Michaels are also set to appear on the series as they supplied the competitors with additional guidance. The winner of the series will specifically earn a place on WWE NXT. Yeah, it's tough enough. It's tough enough. Which is cool. I used to watch Tough Enough. I haven't seen every season. I did see the final season and like
a good
the first
reality
season,
show.
When it's done right. And I also saw the one that was, I think, was on the Roku channel, but it was when they went to like California for WrestleMania 39 and they did tryouts.
Yeah.
And some of those people have been seen in the background at like NXT, especially around those ones where the underground kind of fights where they take down the ropes and the ring posts. They're usually those. I've seen a couple of them around the ringside there. And then there's another show called Stephanie's Places. It's going to be on ESPN Plus. This sounds interesting too. So she'll be visiting wrestlers and seeing their life and basically kind of interviewing them, which is interesting.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. I mean, it's definitely going to be very like pro, healthy.
Apparently, she's really good at interviewing people.
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, and Triple H said that like people have come back to him after being interviewed by her, and like she was able to get them like emotional and things like that. So that's kind of cool.
Very personal person, I feel like, when it feels like interviewer style.
And then last but not least, Triple H this week was announced to be, I assume, the headliner for this year's Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
He was
seen on stage. Way to do it too.
He was seen on stage. He looked pretty surprised when Shawn Michaels' music hit, as well as The Undertaker. Yeah. They announced it to him. Stephanie would come out, give him a hug. So he's going to be headlining.
The funny part I thought was they didn't tell Stephanie because they didn't want her ruining the surprise.
But there was a video of her backstage reacting to it.
Yeah.
Because
So
I
they
guess she
told her
was
like
just in
right
town.
before.
Probably while he's already out there and she can't tell him.
Yeah.
You know? I was thinking, like, when are they going to induct... Please tell me they haven't done it. Bray Wyatt.
They haven't done it, no.
Okay. Should have been
Yeah.
this year, but we're going to do...
I usually,
H
like,
now.
when it's like something happens like that and a wrestler like passes away, they do it like pretty quick.
Eddie Guerrero, they did.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like that's a normal thing.
Yeah,
Maybe next year.
I don't know. He just, I mean, they did document it, but he should also be put in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Especially with the White Six being there. I don't know.
Yeah.
Have Uncle Howdy.
Triple H could have been next year.
Who do you think inducts him? Taker and Shawn, or just Shawn?
Definitely Shawn. I think just Shawn.
Okay. I think I want to say Triple H inducted Shawn.
I think so.
Okay, it's been a while.
Yeah,
It was a long time. All right, let's get into AEW now. This is going to be kind of quick. There was nothing great.
yeah.
Just going to be spitting some facts, not really going into too much detail.
I feel like this is kind of like the rough period for AEW because their next pay per view isn't for another month.
Dude, Collision also competed with Royal Rumble. I'm just like,
yeah. I mean, those things I feel like they just kind of like give up, almost like there's like, well, we're just gonna have it on this time anyways, and there'll be a couple 100,000. That's it.
All right. Claudio Castagnoli would defeat Jeff Jarrett. We said last week that they were going to have a match to see if Jeff Jarrett could get a title shot at Mox. Afterwards, MJF would come out. I believe he would attack him, and he was going to be respectful and not say that he told you so or told him so. Ricochet would defeat AR Fox. Swerve would come out afterwards, and in order to avoid getting attacked by Swerve, he would threaten AR Fox with scissors. Then Jay White had a match against Wheeler Yuta, which he defeated him. This whole Jay White being involved in FTR and Cope is weird, isn't it? Doesn't it feel random?
It does feel random, like because he had a whole.
I love that they're doing something with it. Don't get me wrong. I like Jay White a lot, but it's like
he has a whole group already, though. The Bullet Club.
Bang Bang Gang.
Bang Bang Gang.
Bullet Club Gold.
Bullet Club.
Shout out to my gold members. All right. Speaking of, there was a vignette for the return of the Guns. It's a good transition.
I guess they've been hurt.
I guess, or one of them.
Yeah.
Where's Juice? Did he get hurt again?
I don't even know. I thought it was
last time I saw him. Right, he had a lumberjack match. He was in a lumberjack match on the outside, where Hangman was in it. I think I don't really even remember who. And then they had a match like the next week because Hangman like choked him with like the ropes or something with a chain maybe on the side.
Yeah. So
there was that. And then I think this was the main event, right? Mercedes Moné retains against Yuka Sakazaki.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
saw a funny clip on Twitter. They introduced Mercedes Moné, or like she held the title up or something like that, and the crowd like didn't react, and like Taz said something, like he called it out, something like that. He was like, they're not that excited, or like they don't really care about her.
No, not at all. She's not as big of a star as she thinks. Side note: are you listening to the boos right now on TV without giving away who they're booing?
I'm not. I mean, I have it on, but I don't have.
They're booing the shit out of this person. And they're like, I'm just going to embrace all these boos. They know, this person knows that people aren't happy that they won the Rumble. Let's see here. Tim got back to us. He says, using chat to fix it.
Yeah, he's going to be on soon, hopefully.
So he'll be on. So let's get through Collision now. Dude, I love Harley Cameron. She's so entertaining. She picks up her first win on a Collision against Taya Valkyrie. First win ever in AEW, which is crazy.
Kind of crazy.
Ricochet and Swerve come face-to-face backstage where Ricochet says like, oh, I have no personality.
He doesn't.
Well, it's like, yeah, you fucking got that right. Let's see if I can find some of the other stuff that he ended up saying. Let us see here. Yeah. So he talks about how he can't cut a promo about something he's not passionate about. Um, he said that ever since Hangman took his grill, he hasn't felt any threat from Swerve. Swerve would then jump up and take scissors and hold them to Ricochet's throat. Swerve would say that he'd see him in Atlanta and then drop the scissors back in Ricochet's pocket. Which I don't know why they're having a match on just regular television, but the way they've been building it should have been saved for.
Because they can't wait for another month, apparently.
Yeah. Daniel Garcia would retain his TNT title in a triple threat match against Lee Moriarty and Kyle O'Reilly. And then the main event was FTR defeating the Death Riders in a Mid-South street fight. After the match, Claudio and Jay... What? Mid-South.
Mid-South.
Yeah. I think just... Were they in Huntsville, Alabama?
Oh, yeah, they were.
That might be why. Claudio and Jay White would brawl while Cope and Mox did the same thing. Claudio would put White in the ring as Mox was getting in. Jay White did a Blade Runner on Claudio, rated FTR, and Jay White would surround Mox. This was a cool moment. FTR did a Shatter Machine on Mox. Cope would follow up with a spear. Jay White would grab another chair so that Cope could do a concerto on the Mox, but Claudio would save Mox just in time.
Just in time.
Just in time. It's just in time. All right. Enough with AEW. Raw this week. Seth Rollins would open up the show. Again, to talk about his desire to win the match this Saturday at the Royal Rumble. He teased challenging Cody Rhodes for the championship if he wins. He brought up the possibility of challenging Gunther, who would then interrupt. Gunther would tell Rollins he hoped he would challenge him. Logan Paul would then come out. I don't think Seth recognized his music. Did you see all those videos? He was like, who's that? It sounds like Apollo Cruz's music for one, when it kicks off.
It's not like a noticeable one.
No. Logan Paul, so yeah, he made his Raw return, vowed to win the Rumble. The crowd was booing him very loudly. Gunther would threaten to wipe the smile off of his face, and there would be no attacking or anything during this whole thing. Let's get going. The War Raiders would retain against Dominic Mysterio and JD McDonough. JD McDonough would get hurt during this match, doing a moonsault on the outside all the way to basically the announce table. He would hit his back on the announce table, which would end up breaking some ribs. Those ribs would end up puncturing his lung. He is going to be out for a while. He did get back up. The crowd cheered. You know, we're not animals, whether you're a heel or babyface. It doesn't matter. We understand. So he cheered. He finished the match, but apparently he collapsed as soon as he got backstage.
That was crazy. If you saw like the replays of it, it's like he smacks his head so hard.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't even his head. I mean, it was like whiplash, but like what he hurt was his ribs and the punctured lung from the broken ribs.
Yeah.
I'm sure the head was...
It just looked like so fast.
Yeah. Rey Mysterio would defeat Xavier Woods with Xavier Woods' family vacant from ringside for a while, and then they would end up showing up wearing New Day Sucks shirts. Jey Uso would cut a quick promo alongside Quavo, the rapper. Yeah, they were in Atlanta. He's talking about how he's going to win the Rumble. Paul Heyman would have a segment where he would reveal the new cover for 2K25. It feels like 2K24 literally just fucking came out.
I know.
Roman Reigns is the cover star. There's also going to be like a Bloodline edition, which has a different cover. But Drew McIntyre would come out and confront Paul Heyman. He said that basically he's the link to the creation of the Bloodline, because he took out Brock, right? And then Heyman needed someone else to go with, and he went with Roman.
Yeah, because didn't Heyman also in this promo talk about Brock? He said the 1 and 21 thing.
In this promo?
Yeah, wasn't this one?
Yeah, because he also said, I'm the one behind the 1 versus 29.
Yeah.
So he did a
So I mean,
little.
this is a separate thing, but I think that like they're keep teasing Brock coming back.
Yeah. Well, I still hear it's unknown when. Paul Heyman will also say when Elon Musk colonizes Mars, Roman Reigns will be the biggest star on that planet too. He said he claimed 29 others in the men's Rumble match want to be Roman Reigns, and even rattled off a few names, though not directly naming Punk in the mix. When Drew said that he's the cause of the bloodline, he said, "I'm the daddy of the bloodline." Um, at the end, McIntyre would say that he's vowing to throw Heyman's boy over the top rope, but clarified that it wasn't Roman he's talking about, it was Punk. Penta and Braun had a cool stare down backstage, possibly going for the Intercontinental title.
That'd be cool.
I think so too. And then in the main event, Drew McIntyre would defeat Sami Zayn. There's a lot to this. After the match, Drew McIntyre would attack Sami, only for Cody Rhodes to make the save. Cody would get rid of Drew, but Kevin Owens would attack. Drew would then attack back as well, and Sami would attempt a haluva kick and accidentally hitting Cody Rhodes in the process. After, I think, coming back from a commercial break, still recovering from the kick, Cody Rhodes talked about working more matches than any other superstar while proving that being champion is more than just about holding the belt. CM Punk would interrupt and went face-to-face with Cody. He talked to Cody about the grind he has been on and will continue to be on and how it will affect his immediate future as champion before saying if he wins the men's rumble, he's coming to take the title from Cody. He said, I'm going to stab you in the front. Let me see some other quotes here.
That was a really good segment.
Punk said, I know that what the title can do to someone. I was champion for 434 historic days, and somewhere around the 300-day mark, which Cody just surpassed, by the way, he said, I was burned out. Mm-hmm. Cody would say, I don't have a lot of friends, but CM Punk, you're my friend, right? And Punk would say, because I'm your one true friend, I'm going to stab you in the front, which is when he said that he would challenge him for it.
That was a good line.
Cody said, the dynamic has completely changed. Do you know why? Because I'm not chasing you. You're chasing me. And friend, I hope you win the Royal Rumble. I really do, because I want to catch you up. Or I want you to catch up. Punk would respond by saying, there's a graveyard full of careers who wanted me to catch up right up until I did. And then Cody would say, I want to see the look on your face when you realize the best in the world isn't the best in the world anymore. This was a great way to end the show.
Yeah.
And it was stuff like this, as well as what happened on SmackDown in that promo, that made it feel like, oh, he's going to win the Rumble. But
I know, we were like, they can't be putting this much into it.
No. That's what Trips wanted us to think, Jeremy. All right, let's get into SmackDown. Again with Punk. Kevin Owens would open up the show with an interview with, I believe, Joe Tessitore. He welcomed Kevin Owens to speak about the upcoming match with Cody Rhodes and wanted to give him to speak his mind in the spirit of fairness. KO would express some anger before taking the wing belt off of the hanger where the other belt or the belts are supposed to be hung up from at their upcoming match, and said he would get the other one on Saturday. This would end up bringing out CM Punk. Punk didn't come out to pick a fight, but he did say he would win the Rumble and come for whoever wins between Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens. KO would end up saying several insulting things to CM Punk. I'm trying to remember exactly, even one of them. He did talk about how he's WrestleMania and Punk, or main event in WrestleMania, Punk hasn't. Punk would rebuttal, be like, you know what I haven't done? Lost like 5 Royal Rumble title matches in a row. He also said, I haven't lost to Logan Paul.
Yeah.
At WrestleMania.
That was a good one.
So that was a good, strong opening segment. Jimmy Uso would defeat what?
I was gonna say that last line about him saying about Logan Paul, which made me think about. I know I won't say yet what happened in the Royal Rumble, but like with him and Logan Paul, I'm like, I don't want to see him and Logan Paul.
I don't think it's gonna. I have a prediction of who it's gonna be, but
okay.
Jimmy Uso would defeat Carmelo Hayes. This is coming off of their backstage stuff, I think, the week before. Damian Priest would come out and have a promo. This is the first time since being drafted to SmackDown. Gave a promo about being on the show. This was interrupted by Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu. Fatu showed Priest some respect by telling him to lay down or he's going to get taken down. Damian was not imitated at all. Knocked down Tonga with a punch, and then him and Jacob would start taking shots at one another.
Like Tonga.
When the numbers started catching up to him, LA Knight would come out and help him out. A match would be announced for later in the night. LA Knight and Damian Priest teaming up against Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu. Naomi would defeat Liv Morgan. Andrade would defeat The Miz. And the main event was LA Knight and Damian Priest, like I said, defeating Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu.
I feel like they had Andrade and The Miz face each other because that's like a thing. Like they had a match before the Royal Rumble. They're like, oh yeah, these guys are here.
In case you
so
forgot.
when they come out, you're like, yeah, they work here.
Speaking of, did you know Andrade and Charlotte got divorced? I had no idea.
Yeah.
It was finalized like today or something.
Yeah, I saw that, yeah.
I didn't know up until this point.
I
didn't know she wasn't wearing. Yeah, I didn't know. I did know she wasn't wearing a wedding ring in the press conference. But okay, let's get into it. Royal Rumble. This match was good, man. I enjoyed the Women's Royal Rumble to open up the show.
Yeah.
You see my notes. Liv Morgan, Io Sky, and Liv Morgan would start off the Rumble spots 1 and 2. I'm not going to name every women's superstar in the match, but I will name the surprises and superstars that weren't from Raw and SmackDown. This is the order in which they came out, I believe. So the first surprise would be Roxanne Perez. She lasted a very long time in the match, and she looked great. She'll be like the next one to be called up, I believe. Mm-hmm. We had Lash Legend also from NXT. Jada Parker from NXT. Jordan Grace, who has officially signed with WWE, though. Have you heard where she's going?
Jordan Grace?
Yeah. Is she going to NXT? Or is she...
I don't know yet, but like she was, I think, had the best performance out of all the surprises.
Performance-wise, yeah, definitely. Yeah. We had the return, which was the contract was finalized at like 5 a.m., I read. Alexa Bliss to a big pop. Fans were really happy to see her back.
She had the little
Lily doll.
Yeah.
Her character is kind of the one that she was doing right before she left, which was a mix of the Wyatt family stuff, or I wouldn't say Wyatt family stuff, the Fiend stuff.
Yeah, the Fiend.
And her, and then the old character.
Yeah. Which I'm curious to see where they're going to go with it then.
So, yeah, that was good to see her back. Stephanie Vaquer, love her. She's great. We also had Trish Stratus.
That was a nice surprise.
And the return that we knew about because of the video packages, Charlotte Flair. Mm-hmm. We had Julia, the NXT Women's Champion. And then at number 30, look, I was hoping for AJ Lee, all right? I think you probably were too.
Yeah.
Who would you have liked instead? AJ?
Yeah, AJ would have been perfect. But
Nikki Bella was number 30.
Nikki Bella.
If it wasn't going to be AJ, it wasn't going to be Nikki Bella, was there a third you would have wanted? That would make you as hyped.
I
can't think of one.
I mean, I always like to see Lita, but she's not the same right now. Like, that's...
Tim wanted Victoria to come in. Not number 30, though.
No, AJ Lee would have been amazing at number 30 there.
So the winner, as probably, I don't remember who we predicted, but I know when I was at Tim's house, this was my pick. When I was at Tim's house, you did? Okay. When I was at Tim's house, and we were watching before it started, this was my pick.
Okay.
So I don't remember what I said last week, but I do know before the match started.
Because I remember I saw her win, and I was like, I called that.
So Charlotte Flair was the winner. It came down to, God, why can't I remember who it came down to, though?
Charlotte and
Was it Nikki?
no.
No. Was it?
Why can't I remember that now?
Watch it. Watch it, Ben Nikki. Let me see here. Oh, it was her and Nia, wasn't it?
Oh, Naya. Yeah. Wow.
Nia. Yeah, it came. I was just like, please, God, no.
Yeah, I know. I was like, that's fine. That Charlotte won. I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah. Okay, let's just say this. Earlier in the episode, I talked about fans booing. People are not happy that Charlotte Flair won.
Yeah.
All
I mean,
right.
I don't think people overall like Charlotte Flair at all.
I mean, box office though, man. Like,
I mean,
it's a good pick.
yeah, like I think it's still a good pick because she's going to draw a lot for
Well, apparently she's also going to be leaning into like the top girl attitude, like heavily.
the I don't need to see her entrance tonight.
No, I need to
It
go
was
back
very
and
much
watch the
like,
promo and the watch. Yeah, like I'm the shit.
yeah,
All right, so let's talk about possible matchups. She can either go for Tiffany, she can go for Rhea. Now, this
everyone
will
wants to see Tiffany.
everyone fantasy booking like a year ago, it was like Tiffany, right?
Yeah,
Rhea's happened twice at Mania. She picked Rhea for the NXT title. Remember that? When Rhea was the NXT champion. And then when Rhea won, she picked Charlotte.
yeah,
And that was like match of the fucking night.
yeah. That was great.
And look, it's not like they're not going to have a good match, but like
The third time.
third time. So who do you want to see? Tiffany? But then it's also like Tiffany just got the belt.
Yeah, I don't. Everyone's saying Tiffany. I don't really want to see that. Like, I just saw Rhea and
Why? Because they're both blonde? Like, I don't know why it's like a dream matchup.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I don't really get it. So I would say Rhea.
She wrestled Rhea when Rhea was a heel in Judgment Day, but the fans liked her.
Yeah.
But Judgment Day was like a heel. Now this is singles Rhea outside of that,
And as a face.
and Charlotte's a big heel.
Yeah.
Especially now.
And also just seeing them face off on this Raw tonight. Yeah.
You're like, it has to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm for that as well. All right. Let's get into the next match. This was a terrible position for this match.
Oh yeah.
You know,
I guess it's not really a good position because Royal Rumble, they take over most of the show.
And it should have been better with the caliber that these teams are, but 2 out of 3 falls, mostly Machine Guns versus DIY. DIY would retain their titles. This is because the Street Profits would interfere without the ref seeing it. Mm-hmm. Street Profits interfere. They hit DIY or mostly Machine Gun. I believe Alex Shelley on the top rope with a crutch. DIY would get the last fall, but then Street Profits would attack both teams in the end.
Right? Yeah, I be honest, I didn't really watch too much of this one because
I didn't pay. I had to watch the next day.
Yeah.
Oh God, you see, it was coming out. God. Okay, the next match. I didn't pay attention to the first time that much because me and Tim were just talking. I've rewatched it the next day. It was very good.
Yeah, that's the Cody KO.
Yes. Yeah. I told Tim, I said, we should have been paying attention more. It was really good. We did see the ending the first time around. But, all right, Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens ladder match. Look, man, I am looking, like, I think the point of this match, I think I wrote it down somewhere, but the takeaway from this match is that it toughened up Cody Rhodes and added, you know, to the whole has the pressure of being champion and exhaustion being the face of wrestling pushed him into like a darker spot. You know, I want that heel turn.
Everyone does.
And I'll tell you my prediction for Mania once we get through and how I think it could be done well. Yeah. But even with that Punk promo that they did at the end of Raw, it felt like a little bit Like,
Yeah,
dabbling in it, man.
like
He's like
coming.
tired of friends like fucking him
Yeah,
over and like stab me in the back and just want the belt. Like,
yeah. It was funny. I saw that Homelander clip of like when everyone starts clapping for him, and he's like kind of like realizing
all
and
right,
smiling. He's
yeah.
like, yeah,
What's the part from being in the elite? It pops up all the time when they're like talking with flashlights in the dark. He's like, "Does it get you hard?" or something, something
yeah.
like that. I was just like,
That
no,
that time of being an elite was so funny.
but that was his heel turn, his heel run, though.
Yeah, like when he was in that show, that was like that was some great stuff they were doing.
Yeah. And he can do it. He can do it again, man. I
Heel
want to
turn.
see it. So let's talk about two spots. And people are saying that the end spot with Kevin Owens is the most brutal, but like I've debatable. So
Debatable.
the ending spot is there's a ladder up against the side of the ring, right across to the announce table. Kevin Owens is standing on the announce table with Cody Rhodes. He gets him into the pile driver position that he's been doing to people. Cody reverses it, turns KO, gets him in the Alabama Slam position. Alabama slams KO through the ladder. The ladder breaks. Kevin Owens folds like a fucking lawn chair. All right.
Yeah,
He just
I think
stands
it's
there
more
the
the
whole
way
time.
he like lands that people think
Yeah.
it's bad.
And Sami Zayn's out there checking on him. Kevin Owens bleeding. Cody Rhodes gets in the ring and climbs the ladder, grabs both belts, just looks down from the ladder onto Kevin Owens. But there's another spot earlier in the match when the ladder is like laying like this. All right. And Cody pops
Yeah,
Kevin Owens up for a back body drop. And
yeah.
Kevin Owens' back hits where that ladder at the top and just stiff and like bounces off, man. I thought that looked way worse, but
That looked like it hurt really bad. It's like when you like I don't know, like I don't even
at
like the
least the ladder
style.
folded with the Alabama Slam. This one, he was just
Yeah,
like,
like
no.
that's one just like stayed. Yeah.
So good match. I think the cool down match was the 2 out of 3 falls. This one the fans were hyped for.
Yeah, which kind of sucks that was the cooldown, but like the Royal Rumble
Yeah.
takes up basically the end and beginning.
Yeah. All right, men's Royal Rumble. Let's get into it. To start, was not expecting this. Also, it was Rey Mysterio and Penta. Cool to start off. Rey Mysterio, I guess earlier in the day or something, had said something like he's gonna win it for Eddie. I was like, you can't just do that. You can't just say that for a second time.
Yeah,
You
don't
can't just
throw that
out.
around.
That was in like 2004 or 6.
Yeah.
Can't just throw that out fucking 20 years later. My God, dude. All right. But that was cool. See those two start. When it comes to surprises and whatnot, there weren't as many. No one from NXT, which was surprising. No Trick Williams, at least. Akira Tozawa would come out, but is attacked by Carmelo Hayes. Tozawa would be replaced by IShowSpeed, Speed, and this is the fucking moment of the Rumble.
Do you know who Speed is before this?
He's like a YouTuber, right?
A streamer, yeah.
Yeah, streamer. Yeah. I mean, he's in that group with like, not like friend group, but like there's Show Speed, there's Kai Cenat, there's all those guys.
Like
Yeah, I
Gene
know he's
okay, so.
yeah. It's all those LA fucking streamer people. Clips pop up all the time. Yeah. But last time we saw him in WWE, he got RKO'd the shit out of by Randy Orton in the Prime costume onto the table, if you remember. So IShowSpeed goes out there. Who does he eliminate?
Otis.
Is that who it?
But that's like with Braun also.
That's right. And so he's pumped, right? Yeah. With Braun Breaker, not Braun Strowman.
Braun gives him a high five.
There's a high five. IShowSpeed like looks at the camera, does a backflip. When he lands from the backflip, Braun Breaker fucking bolts at the ropes, bolts back, and when he's coming back in the middle, IShowSpeed turns and gets fucking speared.
Destroyed.
Fuck out. It might be like the worst looking spear I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many angles of it. It's great. I posted some of the angles. It was crazy. Yeah. I mean,
the fans' angle of it when you watch them like from their point of view on the cameras.
It looks worse when it's like kind of like up above. Yeah. It wasn't long after that he would get up, but that moment was fun.
Yeah. And then he got killed. Then Braun actually like picks him up and then throws him out to Otis. Then Otis
Yeah, and then Otis throws him on the table, and I think that's the spot. It was seen backstage. Speed's like skin peeled off.
Yeah,
his leg. There was a video with Logan Paul and him. He's like, "No, seriously, are you okay?"
Yeah.
Like, so he's pretty banged up, but there was a big pop for this guy, and I think I was hoping for it. I think I mentioned him when we were talking about Captain Kill. When we were doing that whole segment last week, I mentioned his name. Joe Hendry would come out. This was fun because when he came out, not only did the crowd pop, but Sheamus just stood in the corner watching.
Yeah.
Joe Hendry, get to work, and he was just like kind of smiling. And then Jacob Fatu would attack him, and Sheamus is like, "I was enjoying that." He's like, "Why are you so angry?"
That was funny.
So that was a fun moment. We had what I felt like or had read was an early return. AJ Styles.
I didn't.
Thank God, back to his old music because the new music did not get me hyped up.
No.
But the fans knew it right away. He did well in the match too. That was.
Did you? I didn't expect him at all to be here.
No, he wasn't even. I don't even think he was in our predictions for last week.
Yeah, so like this was like an actual surprise.
Number 30 was fucking Logan Paul. It was getting down. I was like, who do we still have left? I was like, we have Logan Paul, we have Damian Priest. I was like, oh fuck, we have Dominic Mysterio.
Yeah. Before that though, there's a cool moment when Cena was out there.
Oh, let's get to the cool moments. I just wanted to talk about who's number 30.
Oh, okay. I thought you were skimming through this.
So I think the first cool moment you're going to talk about is the standoff between Cena, Punk, and Roman, right?
Yeah.
Right? And before they even touch each other, Seth's music comes in. I think he goes right after Punk.
Cena comes in first, and then it's him and Roman looking at each other. Then Punk comes in. They're licking each other. And then Seth.
So there's a point when Seth like hits a bunch of moves on people. He hits a pedigree on Jey Uso. Then it gets to Seth and Roman standing against each other. And they're staring each other down. This was a cool moment. That feud never gets old to me.
Yeah.
They start punching each other. I think that's the point when Seth is like looking at the ropes, but you see Roman just staring in the back corner. And Seth realizes it and like does a slow turn. It's the little things like that I love. So they start fighting. Eventually, I think this leads to them being tied up against the ropes. Seth trying to like dump Roman out. And Punk, who's on the ground, comes up and scoops him out. And this is like all of our pick, right? Is Punk to win.
Yeah, he did it. I was like, all right, Punk. I'm like, he's gonna win.
Me too. I shook Tim. I was like, ah. And then as Punk's leaning over, Logan Paul fucking dumps him out, dude. And I was like, Tim's eyes were just like, he was so bummed. Like I could not. They're showing it right now on TV.
Yeah, they are. Yeah,
literally as we're talking about it. All right, so we'll do a play-by-play as we're doing it. So Punk dumps them out. Logan Paul comes out. All right. Now they saved it, kinda, with this moment. Roman's like, Roman's. What is it? What did he say to him?
He said we were literally tagged.
But before partners. That, he's like, I think he's like, why would you do that? He's like, we literally tagged a month ago, and then Seth diabolically comes in with a double foot stomp.
That was crazy.
Flicks off Paul Heyman, does another stomp onto Roman onto the steps.
And then
goes and backs the brawl with Punk. What my hope is these three guys, triple threat, Mania, one, because it would main event one of the nights. Because not only Roman, but Seth and Punk.
You need a title then.
You don't, but...
You're going to have a triple threat, a non-title match, main event, and not mean anything?
I don't know, man. I don't know. There's got to be a way for Punk to get his main event match. But I definitely think... But I think Punk gets the match with Roman anyway by cashing in his favor.
Oh, yeah, the favor that he still hasn't said anything.
That's my prediction.
There's still Elimination Chamber, too.
Still Elimination Chamber.
But I think Cena is probably winning that.
We'll get to that. So, because I want to talk a little bit about what he said during the press conference. So, AJ Styles would get eliminated by Logan Paul. That's who I think faces Logan Paul at Mania.
AJ Styles?
Is AJ Styles.
I mean, I
That's
feel like
fine.
that would be a better match for Logan Paul.
Yeah. So I think who knows? That's what I think. Okay, so once Punk got out, I don't know if you were like me and Tim, but I was like, look, man, the only way you can save this now for us, for me
Yeah.
personally, is if Cena fucking wins this shit, all right?
Yeah.
So it comes down to Jey Uso and John Cena, and they're fighting back and forth. They get on the outside of the ring. Punch here, punch there. Cena goes up for an FU. Jay comes back inside and pushes Cena off, and Cena just jumps off the fucking
I
the
know.
ring apron, and Jey Uso wins, dude, which no one saw coming. And I'm
It's
gonna
like, it's like I'm not mad, but it's like I'm also not super excited.
look. I like Jey Uso. I don't like him. I don't like him like I like Roman and Punk
And Cena.
and Cena like winning it. I get it. I feel like Jay for the young kids like Cena was back then. That is what Jay is now.
But like,
I saw
why
all
did
these
they have
videos
him?
online of kids
Yeah.
watch and being stoked for Jay to win. There's a
Why
lot of
didn't?
adults in the audience that like him. He's just not my guy. All
Yeah,
right, he's not.
that's true. Why did they have him face Gunther like a couple weeks ago then?
Now, that's what I'm saying. No, he literally faced Gunther 1 week before the Rumble at Saturday Night's
Yeah.
main event.
So like I don't want to see that
And
though.
I think he might have faced him before. Jey Uso versus Cody Rhodes. Cody ends up being the heel.
I mean, I would love that.
That
And Jey Uso
is
winning.
what I think happens.
So
I think maybe Cody losing finishes the full heel turn.
yeah. And then next,
If
well, I
you're
guess
going to do
after
Jey
WrestleMania.
Uso, that's what I need to happen.
Yeah, Cody being heel.
Which brings you back to then what happens with Gunther's title and Roman and Cena and Seth and Punk.
It's Gunther and Punk. Because remember they were saying that a bit ago.
But what about this? Why is Seth fighting Punk on the outside if they're not going to be involved later? There's going to be something with those three. I just don't think Roman, Seth, and Punk are going to have a title shot this year.
That's crazy. So they're not gonna main event unless it's like
No,
some.
I guess Cena, if he gets a title shot, is going to have to close out.
Yeah,
one
so
of
he
the men.
would
Face Gunther.
be the second night. Then Punk would not main event.
Or Jey Uso and Cody would be the second night. But
Yeah.
So Jey Uso wins. Drew, let's talk about this Drew McIntyre stuff, all right? When Drew gets eliminated by Damian Priest, Damian bumps into LA Knight, who's in the corner fighting Logan Paul. I don't know how this messed up the elimination. Drew gets eliminated,
Well,
wide-eyed, looking at Priest. All right. But apparently Drew got backstage, right, and is cussing and talking about, but somebody had to get their moves in. He storms out of the arena. This apparently is not a work. He doesn't show up to the after party. Apparently, he's also pissed of his rumored WrestleMania spot, and after his 2024 year, thinks he deserves a bigger match, which, if this is true, I kind of agree with, though I don't know where to slate him.
definitely agree.
But the rumor is that he is moving to SmackDown, right? Damian Priest moved to SmackDown. Damian Priest eliminated him. That we're going to get Damian versus Drew. This is kind of a match that we all know these matches that are just kind of, it's like AJ and LA Knight last year. It's just going to be like, whatever.
It's like almost a filler.
It is. And it's going to be
Which
somewhere
Drew
in the
should not
middle.
be in.
So I get it. Apparently, though, Drew's not in trouble. Everything's fine. I don't know if they're going to change up plans.
They
But
just
I
don't
think
have
it
spot.
was more than just the LA Knight, Logan Paul in the corner stuff.
Yeah.
He said someone's trying to get themselves over. No one can really nail down if it was Logan or LA Knight, but the rumor is it's one of them. I don't want to spread rumors. I'm just saying this is what we're all reading everywhere.
Yeah.
And it was like online right after the show ended. It was like all over X and Instagram and whatnot. All right, John Cena post show. You want to talk about that? He comes out. He says,
Yeah.
not gonna answer any questions. He basically just made a fucking statement, and
Yeah, he did.
I
He
want
cut
to
a
play
promo.
it. I want to play part of it, right? But I also
Mhm.
don't want to get, in case people don't know, we got flagged and weren't allowed to be played in other countries outside the U.S. last week. I don't know
Yeah.
what it's from. All right, don't know what part. I was gonna play the Cena part off of WWE's Instagram, but I wish there was a way to sum it up. But he said he's always done what's best for business, right? And
Yep.
he says, I think what's best for business, or I feel that what's best for business is for me to headline WrestleMania. He said, with that being said, he's entering himself in the Elimination Chamber. And then you might ask, like, how can you just enter yourself? Well, when Triple H came out, he said, I think John has earned the right to call his own shots. So Cena right now is the only person entered officially in the chamber. There's qualifying matches happening. One for the
Yeah, probably
women's
Punk
tonight
will
and
be
one
the
for the
next one.
men's. Do you want to predict who might be in the chamber? I'm predicting Punk,
Yeah.
Rollins, Cena, Roman.
Because how
Unless
many
it's
are there?
all, is it an all Raw chamber or do they always break
I
it
don't
up?
think so. I think
Cena's
it'll
like
be
a
a
free
mix.
agent, so it can be like,
Yeah, I think it's gonna be
look at
Roman.
this, yeah, they're showing the
Yeah,
spear
that
from
spear.
Braun. Oh, speaking of spears, sorry, spear from Braun to Roman was cool.
Yeah, that was a cool spot. And they're
Um,
really showing all the angles for this right now.
That's good stuff. Fucking even Ray was like,
I
"This was
know.
rough, dude." Most viewed Royal Rumble social media post of all time with more than 300 million views in less than 24 hours. Well, that's because it's iShow Speed, so he probably was tagged. He probably
He has a
uploaded
huge
too.
following.
Yeah, which
That's
Triple H
crazy
is
though.
smart. That's why he fucking brought him in. Um,
Yeah, and
so
speed is crazy, so he'll do stuff like that.
Cena's promo, I'll call it a promo at the press conference, felt
Yeah,
heelish.
it did.
It felt like he was like doing it for himself. He's basically like, "Fuck you guys, this time I'm going in for myself." But he
Yeah,
also
I don't know
said
if it.
he is doing it for best for business. So
Yeah, I don't know if it's because it feels very direct and he's like just saying the truth because it is best for business. I think if he wins
at
and he's
this
in the
point.
title picture.
So then the idea then, if he ends up getting the title shot and winning the chamber, Cena versus Gunther, how do you feel about that?
It's not going to be an amazing match, but I still think it'll be really good.
The Cena win the title?
Yeah,
Okay.
he can take it from Gunther.
And then have the Summer of Cena lose at
So
SummerSlam. Lose at SummerSlam.
when he loses, what's that? What's
He
the
has to get
last?
it. He has to get rid of it before December. December's his last match somewhere.
What is the last pay per view? Then he can do.
So his last match is not even like a pay per view.
This gonna be a
It's just
show.
like a Raw or something.
Oh.
So I think
Also,
before that it would be what, Survivor Series would be the last pay per view.
that's what I was thinking. Yeah,
Yeah. Because
but
what's
I
after
would.
Survivor Series? There's nothing, right, till the Rumble.
Yeah, which is a pretty long break.
So do you want to see a 17-time?
Yes.
Yeah, I do too. I do too. I also want to see a Punk. They didn't even touch during the match, dude.
I know. I was gonna say I want to see Punk and Cena at Money in the Bank this year.
Just relive that.
Yeah,
I want to see Punk and AJ. I know they don't really like each other, but
they don't like each other.
I don't think so. I don't think Punk agrees with like AJ's like
Oh, right. Yeah,
politics. Dude,
like
the gay community.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
I don't think Trump or Punk and Trump. I don't think. Well, I'm sure AJ's for Trump. I don't think Punk is very much for AJ. I know that's probably why like Punk doesn't like Jericho in the Bucks. I think I've read before.
Yeah, that's part of it. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
um, I'm pretty sure AJ's like his last year is like coming up.
I think so.
When
'Cause
he
he
signed
said
the
he only
last
had a few.
contract, he said this was his last contract he was going to
Yeah,
sign.
so it has to be within his next year or two.
Unless they add on a little bit of time for the injury, but um, Yeah, it's just or Cena though during the press conference said that it's best for business for him to win the 17th so that someone else can try to break that one. Or he said, hopefully I'm there or around for when the next person breaks that record, basically.
Yeah.
So it'll be this road to WrestleMania, man. It's Triple H. I did not see a lot of this stuff coming.
I know. I was gonna say this is another one where there's so many things that can happen. Like last
No Rock, obviously.
Yeah. I don't know.
So next is the Chamber.
We thought it was gonna be the Bloodline stuff. That was gonna be a big picture of the WrestleMania.
Don't even know what's going on with Solo.
Yeah, haven't seen him. That's crazy.
So, I mean, do you have anything to add? I ain't got nothing.
I mean, it was a.
I had a good time watching it. I was just like,
it was a really good pay-per-view still, but it was just unexpected and different results. I'll call it.
To win.
Yeah, I just call it different. It doesn't mean it's good or bad, but also then that means I'm also looking forward to what they're gonna do now because I don't know, which also is a nice thing.
Yeah, I remember the road to WrestleMania last year with it got
crazy.
Confusing. Cody got taken out of the main event, and then
the Rock turn heel was the best part of it.
Yeah, I mean the build up for that and the promos with all four of them was awesome. So I think there's going to be some good ones with like Roman and Seth and Punk.
That's be Cena.
I never thought that Punk and Roman and Seth were completely done. I knew it was going to come back. But now there's like a triangle of like Seth doesn't like Roman, Roman doesn't like Seth, Seth doesn't like Punk, Punk doesn't like Seth. But I did laugh though at that when Roman did say he's like, what are you doing? He's like, we just teamed up a month ago.
Yeah.
And then curb stop.
Heyman's
gonna be caught in the middle of this whole thing. Like if there is a feud, like it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah. What if Brock comes back before WrestleMania?
Keep him away until after WrestleMania at least. I will say I was hoping Aleister Black would come back, but maybe we can save that to like the Raw after Mania.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
or something.
I think
like that, so.
Also, do you think Cena is going to be on Raws now, or he's just gone into the Elimination Chamber now?
Oh God, I hope he's on Raws and SmackDown, but
like
wasn't that the whole point? Like, if we come to a city near you, why has he not been around? Because he's a fucking liar. All right, that's why.
Because when you sent that post, I was like, "Oh yeah, where is Cena?"
Yeah. So that's all I got, man. If you don't got anything else, we can get taken.
Yeah, no, that was it.
There's no classic show of the week because Tim's not here. But if you haven't seen the Rumble, sorry for spoiling it. Still think it's worth a watch, but that'll do it, man. Catch us next week for episode 164. Hopefully, Tim will be back on and have his mic issues figured out. But thanks for listening.
Goodbye, my lover. Goodbye, my friend.